So happy to see my next guest finally get a fight. He's going to be taking on Leon Edwards in the main event of UFC 296 for the welterweight title. It is Colby Chaos Covington back here on the program. Colby, how are you, man?
I've never been better, James. To see all the people that are miserable out there today, because I got what I deserved and what I earned, it's one of the sweetest feelings and joys I've ever had in my life. To see all the miserable so-called journalists, which we know are nothing more than fanboys of the sports and groupies of the sport, to see them miserable, crying in tears like they're going to change the outcome of what a multi-billion-dollar company in the UFC does. So it's amazing, man. I've never been happier to see all my haters so mad.
We got the announcement last night from Dana White. When did you sign pen to paper? When was this official?
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's been official for a long time. Like, I told the UFC I was ready anytime, anywhere, any place. So that's why I'm in this position in the first place, James, because I've been willing to fight anywhere. You know, I wanted to go to his home country and give the UK fans a spectacle and a show, but he thought that the UK fans didn't deserve it. So I feel bad for his people, but it's okay. I've already made the promise, James, that I'm going to win that undisputed title December 16th, and I'm going to bring that title back to UK, and I'm going to defend it there for those people because they deserve a show because they're electric, and those are some of the most just thoughtful and just genuine fans I've ever met in my life.
Why did this take so long to book? You said you knew a while ago that it was, I mean, we knew the fight was going to happen. We just didn't know when. Why do you think this took so long to book?
Everybody knows why it took so long to book, because Leon thought he called the shots, James. And we found out. I said it right here on this station. I said, you don't cross the boss, Junior. It's the best advice I've ever given to Leon. And it's the last piece of advice I'm going to give him before I whoop his ass December 16th, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada, pay-per-view. But the reason it took so long is because he was delaying. He thought he was a star, James. He thought he called the shots. He has no stroke in the UFC. He found that he's irrelevant to the company. And he delayed this ass whooping, but guess what? You cannot deny it. You could delay it, but he's got a date with destiny and a date with fate, and that's Colby Chaos Covington, December 16th.
Were you worried at all this wouldn't happen the longer this is going on? Not you getting the title shot, but that you and Leon would not get to fight.
I was worried that, he was going to take the easy way out. I'd heard some stuff like allegedly, like, he was hurt, this and that. Maybe allegedly, he might have got into an incident with some gerbils. I don't know. The journalists out there will have to do the research into that, figure out what's going on with Leon and why he's been taking so long to get this done. That men's race guard, that Bart Simpson looking motherfucker, that he looks like he's got jaundice. So it probably has something to do with him. They thought that they called the shots in the UFC. They thought that they made business decisions over there, but he's not the A side of this. I'm the A side. I'm America's champion. I'm the draw that's going to be bringing the people in and selling the pay-per-views. So, he's just going to have to sit there and take it because there's literally nothing he can do to stop me.
What's this gerbil thing? This is the first I've heard of this.
Yeah, you have to look into it, James. Okay. Allegedly, I don't know. Some things happened, some gerbils, I don't know. Everybody out there, do your research, figure it out.
Fair enough. It hasn't been a good couple of weeks for animals, that's for sure, with MMA fighters. Is Jon Jones the reason you're not on UFC 295 having this fight with Leon?
Yeah, it's a shame, James. It was going to be an electric factory. It was going to be one of the biggest pay-per-views of all time. But, ultimately, Jon didn't want me on there. And I'm not going to say the UFC told me that. I have my source. And, things happen, He hasn't actually came out and denied the rumors that he might have been on Epstein Island, James. So I want answers. I want to ask him the tough questions that the journalists aren't going to ask him. They're giving him softballs. I want to ask him the tough questions about his personality, about his lifestyle, and was he or was he not on Epstein Island? Because there's no saying if he wasn't. I haven't seen the call log yet. So I want to know. I want answers, James. Was Jon Jones on Epstein Island?
I'll put that in my notes with the gerbil thing. As well, you talked about New York and it being an electrifying card. Would you have preferred to have been on that card and fight in November as opposed to December? I know you're happy to headline this card, but, New York's sort of the mecca of combat sports.
Yeah, New York's it's a great market, but I've done that. I've been there and I've done that. I sold out Madison Square Garden, fourth highest gate in arena history for that arena, Madison Square Garden, the most iconic arena in America right now. So, I've done there. I've made my history there. I've had my time there. But, the fight capital of the world is Las Vegas. So I always love fighting in the desert. I love fighting in Vegas. That's the home headquarters of the UFC. So I'm the ultimate company, man. I want to go out there, put on a show for them and light up that city like it's never been lit up before. So I'm excited where it got landed. It's okay. Jon didn't want me on the card. It's okay, man. I was going to ask him some real questions, but he doesn't want those questions answered. And so the people will have to wonder. They'll just have to guess, was he or wasn't he on Epstein Island? Because there's no debating it, but there is no debating that Epstein did kill himself.
You talked as well about, the numbers that you've done and all that. And, there's all this talk about you being a draw. Do you think this sort of confirms that with the fact that the UFC is now putting you on another December pay-per-view, their last pay-per-view of the year?
Right. The numbers never lie, James.
Yeah.
There's a reason I'm in this position. There's a reason I'm headlining the end of the year pay-per-view, their last event of the year. And it just so happens that they just formed a share and they went publicly traded this week. And now we have the TKO umbrella. So now we have the UFC and WWE all under one umbrella. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's not investment advice, guys, but Colby Covington is telling you, go out there, get some TKO stocks. Now I'm back in town, so the numbers are going to be boosted up. I'm bringing entertainment, and I'm bringing the electric factory, and I'm going to fry this fucking fish, Leon Edwards.
How do you look at this fight stylistically with you and Leon? Obviously, you got the wrestling, you got the stand-up. I mean, it's two well-rounded guys going toe-to-toe. How are you looking at this one?
It's a great matchup. I love fighting southpaws. So, I think there's a reason he's delaying this matchup. He knows it's the hardest stylistic fight for him. And for me, it's just another fight, another big pay-per-view main event that, I don't even remember the last time I fought a fucking 3-round prelim fight like some of these other bums that call out my name. But, I think it's a great stylistic fight, southpaw to southpaw. And, I just don't think he can keep up with my well-roundedness. He's going to be guessing the whole time. Am I taking him down? Am I striking? Am I taking him down? Am I striking? So now I'm a black belt under Sensei Valverde. So, dude, my submission skills, my finishing skills, I'm coming to put this dude's lights out. He ain't making it 25 minutes come December 16th in T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Anything different for this camp, or is it pretty much business as usual as far as training partners and coaches? What is camp going to be looking like going into this?
Yeah, business as usual. We got a great setup around us. We bring in guys to us to train. I get high level looks every day with my coach Daniel Valverde, Cesar Carnero, my striking coach. We've made a lot of progress. While we've been in the quiet and people are guessing what we're doing, we've been working and we've made some changes. We've evolved a lot. And now I'm finally in my prime and reaching my true potential. So I'm excited to show off all the new things we've been working on. I got great training partners. Colin Luberts, he's a great training partner. An up-and-comer right now, a kid named Richard Mayo. You'll have to pay attention to this kid, 2-0 welterweight. Honestly, I think he's going to be a future UFC champ. So, a lot of good fighters in our gym. Themba, Gorimbo, Rami Hamed. So, we got a great team over at Colby Covington Incorporated. And we're going to set the year on fire, man. We're going to end this year with a bang. I can't freaking wait.
You mentioned Themba. I actually interviewed him, and he told a really good story about, I know you were bringing food for him and all this stuff. It's a really tight group there over at MMA Masters. How cool is it to see The Rock come visit the gym and, give him some praise for everything that he's trying to do?
It's amazing. It's amazing for him. The Rock changed his life, dude. He bought him a house. So, that house has completely changed his lifestyle and the way he lives. And now he can bring his family over here and have a comfortable living. He was living on a couch before. So he was chasing the American dream. And that's what's beautiful about this country is James, it's the land of the free and it's the land of opportunity. If you come to America, anything's possible. Any single person that's here can achieve the American dream. So God bless America. God bless, Themba and all the people that are out there that are in fearless pursuit of their dreams and never giving up.
You're always in shape. You're always, in the gym. I know it's, again, people think like you've been off this whole time. You're in the gym all the time. How is the weight cut going? Like, when does that start for you? Is anything different, like, as you've gone on as a fighter in terms of cutting weight to 170? You don't really cut much, is my understanding.
No, it's an easy weight cut. There is no weight cut. I keep my natural weight on year round. I'm 185 pounds soaking wet. So, maybe adjust a few little things, take out some carbs, eat more proteins and more vegetables and drink more water. And the weight's off in a week. So, I don't really have to cut weight. That's what's really helped me evolve as a fighter and martial artist is because, I'm not focused on cutting weight. I'm focused on my training. I'm focusing on my craft and my skill set and how I can become 1% better every single day.
Your corner, Daniel Valverde. Do you know who else will be in the cage with you that night?
Yeah, I'll have, Daniel Valverde, Cesar Carnero, Jonathan Hartnett, and my other good coach, Charlie Weiss. So,
nice.
we got to, and then also my strength and conditioning coach, he's going to walk out with me, Jonathan Lopez. We put together a great program. The guy's a mad scientist in the lab. So, I get a little bit of everything from everyone. Charlie, he's a patriot. He's a freaking hard worker. he knows what it's like to grind and go to war and, fight for this country. So, my corner, I couldn't be more thankful. Now I finally, James, have people that actually care about me. At the old spot, they just cared about the paychecks I brought in for them. They didn't care about our success and me as a person. This is a family, and I really feel the unity now in my career, and that's why I've reached this level, and I'm ready to become undisputed champion of the world. I can't wait.
What's your prediction? How's this one playing out on December 16th?
Yeah, my prediction is just complete domination, just from second one to however long it goes. He's not going to have a glimmer of hope in this fight, and I want to go out there and really set an example that he's not going to want to fight me in a rematch. He's going to probably want to retire or go fight someone else where he knows he has a chance against him. He's going to find out on December 16th live on pay-per-view. He's going to find out when he meets America's champ, when he meets the apex predator, when he meets Donald Trump's favorite fighter, and he feels the electricity of that crowd and all the big stars that I bring out, because I'm a superstar. No one cares about him. He's bland. He is unoriginal. He's just going to sit there and mumble, bum, 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 headshot dead, headshot dead. Bro, you ain't even got guns in UK, homie. I stay strapped here in America, so don't be coming and talking like headshot dead. Mumble, mum, 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 mum. So I can't wait. I'm going to shut that fucking mumbling, fumbling idiot up December 16th.
I imagine, all goes well, you get the strap. You want to keep active because I know it's been tough and a lot of things I know beyond your control as well. Do you want to get back to fighting 3-4 times a year?
Of course, I want to fight again in March. This is ridiculous that I've had to wait this long, but this is a guy, that sat out for a year and a half after he beat up a washed up Nate Diaz and then demanded a title shot. So this guy is the most privileged of all privilege, and he hasn't earned anything. And now he wants to fight once a year. It's a joke. So I can't wait for December 16th, live in T-Mobile Arena. I'm taking back that world title. Donald Trump's going to be in attendance. I'm going to put that belt around Donald Trump's waist, and then we're going to go to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. He's taking back the White House. So it's going to be a big year coming up, brother. We're going to make America great again. We're going to make welterweight great again, because the guy that's at the top with me is destroying this division, and he's not bringing any more eyes to this division. He's actually turning people out of this division. So I'm going to make this division great again, and then Donald Trump's going to go take back the Oval Office and make America great again.
So Trump, you just said it there. Trump will be at the fight. You've talked to him?
Yep, I've talked to him. He will be at the fight, front row in attendance. I can't wait to have him out there and get his dragon energy. Every time I see him, dude, I just want to go run like a marathon and freaking, dude, there's nothing that can stop me. Like, I feel invincible, and it just gives me this sense of strength and energy that is just unstoppable. So to have Donald Trump in the building, it's going to be amazing. I'm going to put that belt around his waist. I'm willing to go through the fire, and I'm going to burn this dude, and I'm going to freaking, I'm going to melt him inside there. He's not going to be able to keep up with the pace and the pressure that I bring. And then Donald Trump's going to see, that this country is great again, and he's ready to go take back the throne of this country again.
Does Belal Muhammad get the winner of this fight, in your opinion?
Belal, the racist guy. Everybody's out there crying, oh, he's on this streak. No, you're not on a streak when you fight the guy and then it's a no contest. That breaks up a streak. It's like in batting. Oh, the guy goes to hitters. He's hitting 3 out of 3. The next one he goes up to walk. Oh, now he's not 3 for 3. He's not 4 for 4 anymore. Now he's 0 for 1. He has to restart over. So neither him or anybody else is deserving. He's a racist. James, could you imagine having the hate in your heart to actually press the send button on a tweet completely racist saying that I only got this because the color of my skin, because it's white privilege? Could you imagine that?
Yeah. No, you'd get canceled, right?
Well, in America, you might get canceled or worse. What would happen in Canada? Isn't there a law now in Canada, James, where it's hate speech and you get locked up in jail for saying racist things like that?
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff now with hate speech. You're definitely right about that. Getting back to the welterweight title picture, though, do you see anyone else as a clear-cut contender, or do you just sort of? I mean, Conor McGregor's also out there too. He hasn't got his fight booked.
There's a lot of big fights after I become undisputed in December. Conor's always looming. If he wants to come back, I don't think he's going to want to fight when he sees the performance I put on. He doesn't want to get embarrassed in front of the world. He's a great fighter. He's done great things. Unpredictable. He could do anything at any moment. He's a dangerous guy, but when he sees what I put on Leon, those guys are going to run for me. But, there's that little Mongoloid. He's been talking a little bit, saying that he wants to come up and fight in a real man's division because he's in a little boys weight class. And I'm talking about Islam Makhachev. He's fighting in a little man's weight class. He's fighting little midgets, and he's barely beating midgets. I mean, split decisions, split draws is just pathetic. So, that little Mongoloid's been talking. He's been saying some things. He wants to come up to a real man's division and face a real man in America's champ. So that might present itself as well. I think that's a big super fight. And, I think that's a fight the fans want to see. And we're the same weight class. He probably weighs more than me, honestly. He probably walks around 190. He's pretty yoked up. He's a big little guy that cuts all that weight to get the advantage because he's scared to fight real men like me.
What did you think of his fight with Volkanovski? I know that was a while back, but it kind of showed that, maybe he's not invincible. It was a close fight. What did you see anything in there that you're like, I can take advantage of?
Not invincible, James. I trained the guy that knocked him out in the first round.
Oh, that's true. He did lose. Yes, fair.
A guy in Adriano Martins. I trained the kid southpaw to southpaw to get ready for Makhachev because they knew he was a wrestler southpaw when I was at that gym. So, I trained Adriano to throw that exact hook and knock him out like that and put him unconscious. So, dude, he's a lot of holes in his game. He's talked a big game. He's trying to ride the coattails of Khabib's success and what he was able to accomplish. And he's not Khabib. It's not the same thing, And Khabib was scared of me. He didn't want to come up to welterweight because of me. So even his daddy knows that it's not smart to come out to welterweight. But, he keeps talking a big game over to Hunter Campbell and Dana White at the UFC. There's no telling what's going to happen because, he said some things behind the scenes. But let's see if he's actually a man of his word. I talk the talk, James, and I walk the walk. And that's what I'm going to do December 16th, live on pay-per-view.
And you think the timing would work out where, if Islam wins his fight, you win your fight, October to December, that could end up happening right after as your first defense against Islam?
Yeah, it's, we could turn it right around in March, first quarter of next year, maybe February, maybe an early birthday gift for me. So, February, March, I want to get it turned around. I want to fight 3-4 times next year. The only reason I won't be able to fight 4 times is because towards the end of next year, James, I'm going to have to take a little break to help my man Donald Trump get reelected. I need to go on the campaign trail with him. I need to get out there promoting, showing the world America's champ and showing people the true people's champ, the greatest president in American history, Donald J. Trump. God bless the Trump family.
You just mentioned it there. You're going to be part of Trump's campaign thing for next year, 2024.
Yep, that's exactly right, James. I'm going to be a part of it. I'm going to help him get elected. I'm going to put all my energy and time and just everything into him because he loves this country so much. And he's the last line of defense between communism and just being able to be free here in America. So we really need to get him elected. If not, they're going to weaponize the justice system. They've already weaponized free speech. Look at me on Instagram. I'm censored to the moon. They try and take my name out of the algorithm. They've done this for years, on big tech, on Twitter before, Elon Musk acquired it and named it X. Facebook, Zuckerberg, he's all about, suppressing free speech. So we need Donald Trump back in office. He's going to make this country great again. I'm going to do whatever I can in my power to make that possible.
Okay, there we go. We'll talk a little politics at the end here, but I did want to mention, you talked about like Islam and that division. They had that BMF title fight with Poirier and Gaethje. We haven't spoken since then. What did you first think of them doing a BMF title fight like that?
I thought the same thing, James, same reaction as the first time they did the BMF fight. It's nothing more than a participation fight to cater to their guys that could never win the undisputed strap. So, good for them. Their little side circus show, winning your little participation trophy. Good for you, man. But you're not the best. You're not the undisputed champion. You're not the best fighter on planet Earth. You're just, nothing more than a promotional tool, and they were used to promote that fight. They need a title fight, to sell a pay-per-view. So, good for them.
Gaethje knocked out Dustin Poirier. Were you surprised by that result? How did you think that fight was going to go?
No, I wasn't surprised. It looked like Gaethje had made a lot of adjustments since the first time they fought. Duck lip Gaethje, had kept a higher guard and really worked on his defense. It seems like Dustin's over the hill and, he's washed up and, he made his fights with Conor and, he's not hungry anymore. He doesn't have that fire inside of him anymore. So, Gaethje still got a little bit of that dog in him. So, I kind of figured that was going to happen. If I was able to bet, we got the gambling probe going on. We're not allowed to bet as fighters. It sucks because that was the only sport I could win on when I was betting. But if I would have been allowed to bet, I would have definitely bet Gaethje and put my money there.
Could he be a future opponent, do you think, if he ever decides to move up? Is that something you've thought of? Because he said a lot of bad stuff towards you, I know online.
Ducklip Gaethje has said a lot of bad things to Colby Chaos Covington, but he knows more than anyone. He does not want to get locked in a ring with Colby Chaos Covington, James. And, he said it, he's admitted it on the Nope Boys podcast, fucking Colby's a fucking asshole, but, I wouldn't be able to stop him in the cage. He's just too good. So, he's admitted defeat and I'm happy that makes me respect him more that he's able to admit that he has no chance in the octagon with me.
What did you think of Gary's comment? Speaking of people who don't like you, he says the biggest thing that Colby Covington has done is lose to Usman twice. What did you make of those comments?
Whose comments?
Garry. He's like an up-and-comer in your division.
Yeah, never heard the name before. That's interesting. You know, I beat Usman 2 times when I fought him. That's why I'm in this position. You know, I'm defending my title. You know, I got robbed in Madison Square Garden. I beat Usman 3 rounds to 2. Every single person in that arena was on their feet. They said Colby, and they knew I had that fight. I got robbed, you know, plain and simple. Everybody knows that. You know, I took more rounds off Usman than Leon took off him. I mean, look at the first fight, Leon and Usman. Usman shut him out 3-0. Second fight, Usman was winning like 4 rounds, and then he gets knocked out the last round. And then the third fight, you know, he at least won 2 or 3 rounds. So, you know, I beat Usman. You know, that's another fight that could present itself as well if he's still around, you know. But he's not looking hungry. He looks completely washed, and, you know, 10 rounds with me in an octagon, James, will really take the fight and the life out of you and the drive. And, you know, you can see that Usman doesn't have that drive anymore. So, you know, I could care less what all these little peasants in my division are talking about. Everybody wants to talk about me because they know they're never going to get locked in a cage with me, James. So it's easy to talk, but there's no walk. And that's what I do best.
Now, Usman wants to fight Wonderboy, it seems. If he was to get a win over Wonderboy, would that earn a title shot in your eyes, or do you think he'd need a couple more?
You know, James, you know, I'm a realist, and I realize that I'm a company man, and I love what this company is about. And I also realize it's what's best for the company. The reason this fight's happening with me and Leon, because they know what's best for business and what's best for the company. So, you know, after I end up finishing Leon in T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, December 16th on pay-per-view, you know, I'll go to the UFC, I'll go to Hunter Campbell, I'll go to Dana White, and I'll say, what would you guys like? Which fight is the most logical and makes the most amount of monetary sense for this company? Because this is a business, and I want to make this company more money than it's ever made from any fighter in the history of the sport. That's how motivated I am. That's what I go to bed and I wake up at 6 a.m. to do my extra runs, and I push extra hard in the gym to be able to accomplish. So I'm here to freaking work for this company. I love this company. They've changed my life, James, and done things for me I never thought possible. And now it's time to get back and really fucking bring the ratings here for the UFC and the welterweight division.
Someone who doesn't seem like he's in your division anymore is Khamzat Chimaev. How do you think he'll do moving up to middleweight? He's fighting Paulo Costa coming up here.
Yeah, of course he's not my division, James, because he ran from me. That dog-faced looking motherfucker was scared shitless. That's the reason it took so long for me to get a fight. The UFC was trying to book that fight with me and him for like 6 months to a year, you know, but he's not a professional. The guy couldn't make weight. He missed weight by 9 pounds. They gave him a layup fight to lead up into the build-up into my fight with him. But he couldn't even do that against the easiest washed-up guy in the division, Nate Soy Boy Diaz. So what do you expect when you get raw American steel twisted sex appeal? I would have melted that motherfucker, and he knows it. So, you know, of course he's going to run away from my division and look for the easier division in middleweight. You know, those are a bunch of guys with 2 left feet that are not athletic, you know. Maybe they hit a little harder, but they don't move, and they're slow. So, you know, I don't know what to expect in his fight. I guess, you know, we'll find out in the next month, because that's next month, you know, in Abu Dhabi. So that's going to be a great show, though. You know, UFC does great business over there. Shout out to all the people in Abu Dhabi, you know, in the city of Abu Dhabi for putting on some of the biggest and best fights and bringing us back in the pandemic when no one else would. You know, when they tried to shut us down because of the common cold. Hey, we're going to shut the world down because of the common cold. But nope, people in Abu Dhabi respect.
Yeah. No, absolutely. We've had a lot of things happen this year, a lot of changes. Fight we talked about actually last time in our interview was Sean O'Malley and Aljamain Sterling. What did you think of O'Malley knocking out Sterling? That was pretty incredible.
Yeah, that was amazing. That's what I expected. You know, I called it America's Pick of the Week. You know, shout out to my bookie for sponsoring me. I got some other huge sponsors on the way. I'm going to announce them next month. A huge sponsor. I can't wait. It's going to be electric when we announce what this sponsor is going to be. But you know, in my America's Pick of the Week on my book, yeah, you know, I picked Sean to win that fight. So, you know, I was so excited for Sean. You know, it brings so much excitement to the bantamweight division, some fresh new blood and fresh new matchups, man. It just seems like that division was getting stale, and, you know, guys were fighting each other, you know, 2-3 times, and it just, you know, there wasn't, you know, the excitement there was now that Sean O'Malley's a champ. So, you know, I'm super pumped. You know, it creates bigger business and better business for the UFC, and the future state of the bantamweight division looks promising.
I mentioned O'Malley there. He recently came out and talked about managers and like all the issues that are going on right now in the sport. And I know we talked about this before. You left your management a while ago. You're sort of riding solo. Did you see those comments? What did you think of that?
Yeah, so, you know, the thing with Sean O'Malley and what he said about the management, I can completely relate with that, James. That's exactly what I went through. That's when I had a management before, there was no transparency. The management company was not telling me anything that the UFC was telling me. They were actually putting a wedge between the UFC's relationship with me. They were telling me things that weren't true. They were telling me things to get mad at the UFC and Hunter Campbell when they did nothing wrong. The UFC's only provided opportunity for me, change this kid from Oregon's life. I was a nobody. I was from a blue collar family. My parents made like 15 grand a year. Like they were nothing. Like we made, we had a tough upbringing. And here the UFC is making me a multimillionaire, making me achieve the American dream. So, managers are disgusting, man. There's no transparency. They don't tell the fighter what's really happening and what's going on with their career. They try and create divide from the UFC and the fighter, and they try and paint the UFC like they're the bad guy when no, the UFC is the good guy, and they're changing people's lives, and it's kill what you eat. Yeah, you want to be a star and you want to make good money. Okay, bring something to the table. The UFC is not going to make you a star. You need to go out there and make yourself a star. Everybody that's crying about me, James, oh, what have they done in the sport? I don't see them getting calls from the president. I don't see them going to the White House. I don't see them doing the things I've been doing in this sport. So, all these people just need to sit back and shut the fuck up. And I'm just glad that I have a better relationship with the UFC and we can speak man to man now, me straight face to face to Hunter. And he's given me everything that he told me he would. All the promises that he made to me, he's kept his word. He's a man of his word. So before the management told me things and I was like, oh, he's not keeping his word, but the management's just lying to me. And just, I'm just so thankful that I have the relationship I do with the UFC and Hunter Campbell as I do today.
And then a couple of weeks ago, we had Sean Strickland beating Israel Adesanya. What did you think of that upset? Because a lot of people weren't giving Sean a chance in that one.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the UFC. It's such a pure sport, and anybody can win on any given night. And if you don't come ready to fight that night, and you have an off night, that's what can happen. I obviously Adesanya overlooked him. He thought, that he was just going to be able to breeze through this guy, and he probably didn't train very hard. And I think he's getting a little comfortable up there. He's made some big paychecks, and he's just not hungry like he used to be. So, it just opens up the door for all the middleweights because that's the easiest guy in the division to beat. Honestly, it opens up the door for me. I might go up and beat his ass. That guy's a fucking punk. He got his ass knocked out by Usman like a little scrub, fucking out unconscious. So imagine what I would do to him as America's champ. So, that's another fight. That could be the next fight as well, James. I might go up to middleweight, steal that middleweight strap. Champ.
Well, I'm surprised you don't like Strickland a little bit. You guys seem to have some of the same values as well. Why aren't you like a fan of him? No, I was just curious about that because he's outspoken like you are.
Outspoken in the most just obnoxious manner and just belligerent and just so low IQ, bro. That guy has no wits. I mean, he just says some of the most just egregious, nasty stuff. And I can't identify with anything with that guy. So, he said some really stupid things about women, and I respect women. I think it's equality out there, and everybody should be entitled to someone. It's not if they're a woman, what the color of their skin is. It's about who's most qualified for a job. So, dude, he's an idiot, and he's even a weaker fighter. And, he got lucky that Izzy cashed out already.
Last fighting question. How much longer do you see yourself fighting? Again, I know this is a big fight and you got a lot ahead of you here, but do you have kind of a timeline? Because I know there is an exit plan at the end of the day here, right?
Yeah, I don't really think of the exit plan. I'm just, I'm a big believer on just focus on what's ahead of me. I know I'm at my prime right now and I'm ready to really reach my potential and become undisputed world champion on December 16th. So, that's what I'm focused on right now. But exit plan 4, 5, 6 fights, get the title in December, defend it 3 times next year, defend it, a couple more times in my 37 year and be out in the next couple years. But, I don't know. I don't really think about it. The thing is, James, is that I've taken such good care of my health and my brain that I can fight into late age if I want to. Look at Daniel Cormier, a guy that was fighting at the highest level when he's 41, 42 years old, winning world championships. So I get a lot of inspiration from Daniel, and I know how good of care I've taken with my body and my brain, not sparring every day and just getting my brain smacked around. So, I could fight for a couple more, 5, 6 more years if I want to. But, I just want the biggest and most meaningful fights. I want to leave my legacy, and I just want people to know who the greatest welterweight of all time was, and that was Colby Covington.
A couple months back, you spoke at Turning Point USA, which you were in front of a crowd, got to talk to people, which is a really cool opportunity. How did that come together? Did they reach out to you? How did that get set up?
Yeah, so I got a good relationship with Charlie Kirk. I've went on his podcast before, so the Turning Point team has known me for years now. With all the active work I've done within the conservative movement, going to the White House on election night, being front row at presidential debates, and just being a sideline reporter through it all, getting to see the ins and outs of how the elections and how the political system works. So it was so humbling to go out there and speak to some of these future conservative leaders at the Chapter Leader Summit. They had some great questions for me, what's coming up, what's next. And, I got to tell them a little bit about my story, how I came from this kid from a small town in Springfield, Thurston, Oregon, and I rised up to the top of the UFC world. And now I'm fighting in the most, accomplished and world title fight after world title fight. So it was amazing. I felt so whole being there, just being able to pass the knowledge that's been passed to me and speak conservative values, which that's what I appreciate more than anything. I'm all about, not about big gov, less government, and more freedom and rights, God over government, that's the way it should be. It shouldn't be the government telling us how to live our lives and how we should spend our money and what things we should do. No, man, take away the communism and let's put capitalism back in America. So, very thankful to Turning Point for having me out. Thankful to Charlie Kirk and the movement that they're spreading among the college campuses, and excited for the future of the Republican movement.
Going to ask you a couple of rapid fire questions. We'll get out of here. Ron DeSantis, what's your opinion on him? You live in Florida. He's running things, but I know he's kind of against Trump. What are your thoughts on him?
Unloyal, sold out his soul for the devil. He's working with George Soros and he's getting campaign money from, some big left owners. So, he's another guy that's part of the swamp. That's all he is. He's a rhino. He's not a real Republican. He's a rhino, man. He's a liberal that's dressed up as a Republican. So I lost all my respect for Ron DeSantis when he turned his back on Trump, the guy that nominated him, endorsed him for governor of Florida. He wouldn't have got that. He wouldn't have been governor of Florida without Trump's endorsement. So the fact that he turned his back and he couldn't just wait 4 more years. Like, this is, let Trump have it. 4 more years, he's robbed of the last 4 years in a rigged election. So, it's sad what Ron DeSantis has done. And, he didn't continue the fight that he set out for. He said he was going to go after Disney. He let that lawsuit go. He said he was going to do all these things for Florida. No, he doesn't care about Florida, James. He's out on the campaign trail trying to win a presidential race. So, he's not a man of his word, and he's not promises made, promises kept like Donald Trump.
What's your opinion of Andrew Tate? I don't think I've ever asked you this. He's in the news and stuff. What do you think of him?
Yeah, I don't have any bad opinions about Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. I actually follow Tristan Tate on Twitter. He follows me. He's given me some shout outs and love before. I think those guys, the Tate brothers, are very intelligent. I think they have intellect beyond their years. I think that, they're just hard to relate and understand because they just have such a knowledge of information, and those guys, have done the research, they've done the facts. So, I think that people are trying to paint them in a bad light and project something onto them that's not true. And, I have no problems with those guys. I actually look up to those guys. I think they're very well spoken, and I try and model myself a little bit sometimes like those guys.
And then last one, what do you make of this whole Dillon, Danis, Nina Angle thing? I was curious your thoughts on that.
I mean, he's got a good beat writer for sure. He's got a good guy that's behind the screen ghostwriting for him. He's definitely been able to manufacture some drama with that fight, make it a bigger fight than it really is, because Dildo Danis is not a fighter. That guy can't throw a punch. He literally couldn't punch his way out of a wet paper bag. So the guy shouldn't be there. He's just there to get his ass whooped by Logan. And, I think Logan starches him, but, I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention to it because it's a circus sideshow, bro. Like, these guys aren't real fighters, and they're fighting for top prizes and big money fights. So they're not like me, who's fighting in the most prestigious, best combat sports organization in the world, the UFC. And, I could care less about their fight.
And we're looking forward to your fight, man. UFC 296, December 16th. Colby, thank you so much, man. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, sponsors, social media, you name it, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, shout out to America. Shout out to the troops. Shout out to everybody in law enforcement, all our first responders. We wouldn't be free and we wouldn't be safe, and if you guys weren't sacrificing for our community and putting in the extra work to make sure we have a free country. So God bless all our military, all our vets, all our first responders. And God bless America. Big things are coming. The American dream is coming himself. He's got a date with Destiny, and he's going to reenact 1776 in December. I don't know if people in Canada know about it, but it was at Yorktown. I don't know if you know that.
No, of course. Yeah, we know our American history a little bit, so.